Hunters must be exceptionally tight individuals, he continued. A hunter leaves very little to chance. I've been trying all along to convince you that you must learn to live in a different way. So far, I haven't succeeded. There was nothing you could have grabbed onto. Now, it's different. I've brought back your old hunter's spirit. Perhaps through it, you will change. I protested that I didn't want to become a hunter. I reminded him that in the beginning I just wanted him to tell me about medicinal plants. But he had made me stray so far away from my original purpose that I couldn't clearly recall anymore whether or not I had really wanted to learn about plants. Good, he said, really good. If you don't have such a clear picture of what you want, you may become more humble. Let's put it this way. For your purposes, it doesn't really matter whether you learn about plants or about hunting. You've told me that yourself. You're interested in anything that anyone can tell you. True? I had said that to him in trying to define the scope of anthropology and in order to draft him as my informant. Don Juan chuckled, obviously aware of his control over the situation. I am a hunter, he said, as if he were reading my thoughts. I leave very little to chance. Perhaps I should explain to you that I learned to be a hunter. I haven't always lived the way I do now. At one point in my life, I had to change. Now, I'm pointing the direction to you. I'm guiding you. I know what I'm talking about. Someone taught me all this. I didn't figure it out for myself. Do you mean that you had a teacher, Don Juan? Let's say that someone taught me to hunt the way I want to teach you now, he said, and quickly changed the topic. I think that once upon a time hunting was one of the greatest acts a man could perform, he said. All hunters were powerful men. In fact, a hunter had to be powerful to begin with in order to withstand the rigors of that life. Suddenly, I became curious. Was he referring to a time perhaps prior to the conquest? I began to probe him. When was the time you were talking about? Once upon a time. When? What does once upon a time mean? It means once upon a time. Or maybe it means now, today. It doesn't matter. At one time, everybody knew that a hunter was the best of men. Now not everyone knows that, but there are a sufficient number of people who do. I know it. Someday, you will. See what I mean? Do the Yaqui Indians feel that way about hunters? That's what I want to know. Not necessarily. Do the Pima Indians? Not all of them, but some. I named various neighboring groups. I wanted to commit him to a statement that hunting was a shared belief and practice of some specific people, but he avoided answering me directly, so I changed the subject. Why are you doing all this for me, Don Juan? I asked. He took off his hat and scratched his temples in feigned bafflement. I'm having a gesture with you, he said softly. Other people have had a similar gesture with you. Someday you yourself will have the same gesture with others. Let's say that it's my turn. One day I found out that if I wanted to be a hunter worthy of self-respect, I had to change my way of life. I used to whine and complain a great deal. I had good reasons to feel shortchanged. I'm an Indian, and Indians are treated like dogs. There was nothing I could do to remedy that, so all I was left with was my sorrow. But then my good fortune spared me, and someone taught me to hunt, and I realized that the way I lived wasn't worth living. So I changed it.